I had my eyes for kind of a Decathlon RC airplane for quite some time. So when E-Flite announced this Decathlon, I just had to purchase one. So first off, let's start putting this one together and see if it's easy and just as easy as most other E-Flite RC airplanes.
First, you have the landing gear assembly, slide it in, and then you have this plastic piece to cover it with and just a lot of screws. So, I mean, it's really interesting to see that they used like 6 screws just to secure the landing gears. Of course, I do prefer to have them really secure, but still a lot of screwing. Then comes the wing then. You have this kind of a bracket just to hold the wing struts, which also has a place inside the fuse. So remove this part. And then there's a quick connector. So align the pins in the forward section, align the connector and just gently press it down. 2 kind of a thumb screws to hold the wing. So you don't need any tools. I believe that if you want to, you can have kind of a 2mm hex drive just to secure these screws. Really easy and simple, and if you want to remove the wing without any tools. The struts then, they're just clicked into place. Takes a little bit of force. When you get it right, they're really secure. After that, you have these kind of braces also for the struts. They slide into a slot. Just kind of press them into the slot then, and they are fastened. When it comes to the rear section then, 2 pieces, the horizontal and vertical stab. These 2 slide together. A little bit of just fiddling to get these 2 parts as one then. And when you've done that, it's ready to put on the rear part of the fuse. Align it and put these 2 parts in. On the other side you have 2 screws to hold this section. And then you have 1 screw to hold the rudder piece. There's also a servo connector for the rear tail light. So use kind of the sticker side then towards the rudder. Just press it in. And lastly, you have the linkage. You should really just bind to your TX, send to the servos, and then use a ball plier to fasten these ball links.
First off, when you have assembled this RC airplane, it is a really striking design with all these kind of rays and stars and everything. I think it's just a great looking RC airplane. Of course, it's not as scale detailed as when you have kind of a clear windshield and just canopy parts done with an RC pilot inside. So they just removed this feature. But this is supposed to be an aerobatic RC airplane, and for that matter, I think that the scale details are not really that important. Now the build was really simple. A few kind of a more odd design choices than compared to some older or other E-Flite RC airplanes. So when you have 2 thumb screws done just to secure the main wing, you have a quick connector which makes this one really easy to get in place. And then you have these wing struts which just snaps into place, and you have to just squeeze these 2 and to put them in kind of a slot. So it's a really good solution. But I will also compare this one to the older E-Flite clip wing cub then, because there's also kind of a similar sized RC airplane, aerobatic RC airplane from E-Flite. And the wing struts then on the clip wing cub have kind of a swivel, just metal piece that just holds the struts in place. So I think that's even a better construction than on this RC airplane then. And also when you have kind of the wing out of the box, it does have this plastic holder which you just put inside of here. So it's just a plastic piece which you can, I think, you remove quite easily. And this piece then holds the struts on the wing when you kind of have the wing off the plane or just store it in the box. And just compare them to, again, to the clip wing cub. The clip wing cub just had kind of a latch mechanism on the wing itself. So I think that was a really sweet solution, which they maybe couldn't done on this RJL plane, but and I think that it's just a better solution than on the clip wing cub overall. You have a really good place then for the battery inside, but as always, I just kind of more and more just dislike these straps, because kind of a hook and loop strap, because I mean, just fiddly and they stick together and you have to fiddle when you change battery. So usually I just put kind of a large Velcro piece and just stick the battery. And most often if you have kind of a 6 or 7 centimeters of length and just to stick the battery, it stays in place really well. But certainly I just recommend to use these as well. But I think they're kind of poor, and I'm more like kind of the FMS straps, which are thicker and just have one strap. It does feature an avian speed controller, so you can do reverse thrust on this RJL plane and also have all the telemetry stuff. And this one comes with an AR631 receiver, which is kind of their standard BNF receiver then. When you purchase this RJL plane, the prop and spinner is already mounted. So I will just make sure and just maybe remove the spinner then and make sure that the prop is secured, because on my E-Flite Commander then the prop wasn't really secured, so it just flew off during a flight. And then if you just look at the landing gears, I think the landing gears, the tires are more squishy than older RJL planes. So the older ones had kind of a foam, and this is more also foam, I guess, but some sort of just more squishy tires. So on hard surface, I think that this would be a really good thing. And the tires do also stick out a little bit more from the wheel pants, so that's a good thing. I have a good mount then for the wheels. And on the tail section, quite easy. I mean, really no problems. You have ball links then for both the elevator and for the rudder. And overall, just a really great looking RJL plane. So it's time to get this one up in the air and just explore my first decathlon. So let's go outside and fly this RJL plane.
Nice and smooth takeoff. So first off, I just want to get a sense for how agile and how it handles. If there are any trim issues. I'll set up mine then to have 30% expo all around and doing 100% rate. It rolls really nice. I have a 4S 2200 milliamp battery inside, which is probably the recommended size and voltage then. I mean, roll rate is really nice on this plane. Effortless, reminds me of kind of the Bigfoot from Arrows. That's a kind of an interesting prop motor sound, which I'm not really sure. And some whooshing from the wing also. So when I go a lower speed, it's really well behaved. But still, kind of an odd prop noise. Going slow. Well, not too bad for being kind of the maiden landing. I set it up with reverse thrust also just to be able to stop the RJL plane if I do run too near the fence then. Really sweet takeoff, not much power, just gentle, goes up in the air. Let's push it and do a snap roll. A really nice snap roll. So you get a really abundance of speed then when you push it 100% on 4S. Surely this does have this interesting noise. A bit ugly sounding in my opinion. Really nice swooshing from the wing. And I know that on this location then the sound kind of bounces between the buildings, so if I would be then on a kind of an open field, it would not really sound as loud as it does today. Now it takes a little bit of time just to get used to playing, so that's why I'm just tossing this one around and try to get a sense for how it feels. If I had to adjust something, so I probably would just set up a little bit more expo, just because when I'm going at lower speed it's really gentle and well behaved, but then when I just push it, I think that a little bit more expo would be really help to make a smoother flight. Just trying to do a kind of a knife edge circle. There's 1 minute left on the timer. Now I'm going for another landing. Just trying to get it lower and slower. There's just a little bit of wind today, so I don't think it influences the plane too much. Okay, a hard landing. I didn't really need the braking, but it's good just to try it. One last go around then. So overall, except then from the kind of a ob prop and motor sound, I think it's a well-behaved plane. So I get it, just try to go as slow as I can. Just trying to use rudder as well, keep it quite flat. Oh, ouch.
Sometimes you just misjudge things and down you go. So that's what happened then to my rather fantastic looking E-Flite Decathlon. I was just going around and experimenting with just how slow I can fly this RJG plane. And then I don't know where it just bit me and down I went, kind of cartwheeled around, land on the wheels. So other than having kind of a dent on one of the wing tips, then it survived really well. So a durable RJG plane, I could say that this is, and really fun, agile. I can see this plane being kind of, I mean, a really good size, great for aerobatics, great for orientation. I really love the look of this RJG plane. Great built, really easy with all these kind of a almost. You don't need any tools, more or less, just to assemble this plane. And overall a good construction, a little bit heavy in my taste, and that's maybe one of the factors why I crashed this plane. So I probably just kind of fly my 1.2 meter plane in the same speed, but this is heavier than most of my other 1.2 meter planes, so that's a kind of a negative. Although if you were going straight and just with no throttle and just flare a bit, it won't really bite you. So it was just only my attempt and just to go with tight turn using rudder turn and just a little bit of aileron, and down I went. So certainly just my fault, not the plane fault, but I think that if this plane would have been a little bit lighter, it wouldn't have crashed. So that's just some thoughts then about this plane. I don't know if this plane is the most fun aerobatic plane, but it certainly is one of the most better looking. in comparison, if you have kind of the OMP Bighorn, which I also featured on this channel, I think the OMP Bighorn is an even more beautiful RSL plane than this plane, and it is also more agile and just I would say that it's more fun to fly than this plane. And it's because it's a balsa and plywood plane, and this is a foam plane. But I mean, surely it's a good plane. And I could also compare this one to my clipped wing Cub, the old one then from E-Flite. And then I think that the Cub then is a lighter RSL plane, and I really love the design of the Cub. But this is more or less just equal what you can do with them. I think the Cub is more agile on 3S than this plane is, but you're just supposed to fly 4S on this RSL plane, so that's just about it. You have this huge space in front just to put a battery, and overall, I mean, as with most E-Flite RSL plane, really well thought and a great construction. Although it does feature wheel pans, I think grass takeoff will work quite well, unless you have really tall grass then. So just some thoughts about this RSL plane. I'm digging it, and I'll just see in the future then if I will continue to dig this RSL plane.